4 years ago, Canada set a goal in its budget to ensure that by 2025, 1 out of every 10 cars sold in the country would be electric. The government took action by making EVs more affordable and investing in production and critical minerals. As a result, electric vehicle sales surged, and the target was met 2 years ahead of schedule. Some believe they can export these cars to the U.S. without facing trade restrictions. However, a proposed 100% tariff on Canadian vehicles could block those sales entirely.
That they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line.
The U.S. President Donald Trump is pushing forward with a drastic shift in trade policy, creating major tensions between the U.S. and Canada.
They want everybody to have an electric car. We don't have enough electricity. We couldn't make enough electricity.
His aggressive approach is disrupting what has long been a deeply connected economic relationship between the two nations. For years, Canada and the U.S. have shared a robust trade partnership spanning multiple industries, from automobiles and construction materials to dairy and energy. In 2023 alone, their trade volume exceeded $900 billion, with Canada sending over $350 billion in goods to the U.S., including more than 60% of its vehicle exports. However, this relationship is now facing a crisis, with growing unease in Canada. Many are questioning whether the U.S. is still a reliable partner, sparking debate over whether Canada should pivot towards the European Union for trade instead. This shift could have significant consequences for industries, jobs, and even major brands like Tesla. Canada is preparing a bold response. Trump has proposed a staggering 100% tariff on Canadian-made vehicles and metals, leaving Canadian officials scrambling for a strategy. His reasoning? Trump claims the U.S. runs a large trade deficit with Canada and insists that the situation must change. He has even joked about Canada joining the U.S. as a state, implying that this would eliminate the trade imbalance and the need for tariffs. Each year, the U.S. imports over 2 million Canadian-made vehicles, including popular trucks and SUVs, along with vast amounts of steel and aluminum used in construction and manufacturing. Trump justifies his tariff threats by citing national security concerns and the need to protect American industries, echoing his past America First stance. Insiders warn that if Canada does not concede, the U.S. could escalate the conflict by imposing restrictions on energy exports, including the 4 million barrels of oil Canada supplies to the U.S. daily. But Canada is not backing down. A senior Canadian official has vowed retaliation, warning that if the U.S. starts a trade war, Canada will fight back. One Canadian lawmaker even suggested imposing a 100% tariff on Tesla, a move aimed directly at the U.S. auto sector. However, another politician suggested a more calculated response, stating that Canada's retaliation would be precise rather than broad, ensuring maximum impact. If Trump continues with his threats, some Canadian officials are prepared to impose a steep tariff on all Teslas entering Canada. Targeting Tesla would be both a strategic and symbolic move. Tesla isn't just another automaker, it represents American innovation and is a key player in the EV market. By targeting Tesla, Canada could stir political backlash in the U.S. and gain leverage in trade negotiations. Tesla also has significant business interests in Canada. The company has been exploring Canada's rich mineral resources for battery production and sells tens of thousands of vehicles to Canadian consumers annually. Hitting Tesla with tariffs could disrupt its North American strategy. In 2024, Tesla sold over 50,000 vehicles in Canada, benefiting from government incentives and a growing demand for EVs. A 100% tariff would double the price of a Model Y, making it unaffordable for most consumers and severely hurting Tesla's sales. Beyond just car sales, this move could also impact Tesla's supply chain. The company relies on Canadian-sourced lithium and nickel for its batteries, and trade tensions could force Tesla to seek alternative suppliers. Elon Musk has previously acknowledged Canada's importance to Tesla's operations, but rising trade barriers could change that. By imposing tariffs on Tesla, Canada would send a strong message. If the U.S. blocks Canadian exports, Canada can retaliate by cutting off key resources and affecting the American auto industry. But can Canada realistically shift its trade focus from the U.S. to the EU? The U.S. is not just Canada's largest trading partner, it is also the most convenient one. The close proximity allows for quick and cost-effective transportation of goods. Auto parts can be shipped from Windsor to Detroit in just a few hours, whereas exporting to Europe presents logistical challenges. Shipping goods across the Atlantic is expensive and time-consuming, and European automakers like Volkswagen and Renault already have established supply chains, reducing their need for Canadian imports. Despite these obstacles, Canada has trade agreements in place that provide alternatives. The Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement (CETA), signed in 2017, has boosted Canadian exports to the EU by 30% and eliminated tariffs on nearly all goods. This offers Canada a stable market of 450 million consumers without the unpredictability of U.S. protectionism. However, experts caution that shifting away from the U.S. will not be easy. The American market is simply too vital for Canada to replace overnight. Meanwhile, Tesla remains at the center of this unfolding trade dispute. This is no longer just a Canada-U.S. issue. The EU may get involved if Trump escalates the situation further. Trade wars rarely produce clear winners. Both sides tend to suffer economic losses.